In my last video a couple weeks ago, I expressed an interest in getting a lathe into my sharpening shop, and I talked through all the reasons why I was incentivized to do that or motivated to try it. Some time has elapsed and I have a lathe now in the shop, and I want to go through some orientation to the lathe, really for, this is like things I'm learning as I'm setting up my first lathe. So let's take a look. Okay, what we're looking at here is a Southbend lathe built back in the day, back when Americans took good pride in what they built. And it's a 9-inch lathe, so it'll take a 9-inch wheel. It's got 30 inches between the headstock and the tailstock. This was sourced from a firm place out of Connecticut that apparently takes in old equipment and sells it. I found the place from a listing on Craigslist, which was for a different lathe, and anyway, I went with it. I wasn't sure, like I wasn't putting my eggs in the basket until the thing showed up, and I was pleasantly surprised that it did. Not without issue, and in this video I would like to talk about some of the issues that I'm working through. Okay, let's go to the headstock first. Okay, I have the great fortune of having access to a machinist and some access to a machine shop. What I've realized, and one of the biggest downsides if you want to also consider getting a lathe into your sharpening shop, is that you kind of need to do a lot of work in order to get something like this up and operational, unless you do all the work in the beginning or someone else does it for you. First off is it was shipped with a 4-jaw chuck, but this is not it. It was shipped with a 4-jaw chuck, but it didn't mount right on this spindle. They provided me a 3-jaw chuck and a backing plate, but I need to make the backing plate fit to the chuck. It doesn't fit right now. And that is something that sounds like it shouldn't be too hard, but the thing is, like, you need machines to do it. I might be able to turn it to fit on this lathe, but I need a mill to put the holes in it so that it lines up right. So that is definitely something that has to be worked through. The other thing is that I was provided with a quick change tool post as well, which is great. You know, exactly what I want. But the thing to know about this, which I had to learn, is that they're sent with a blank for the T-nut here. So I had to get on a mill and cut that T-nut, which, you know, like if you don't have access to a mill, you're not going to be able to do that. Fortunately, I was able to do that. While I was in the machine shop, the machinist, who I've known for a long time, was generous enough to pass me a gauge here, and he offered me some advice, which I want to offer to anybody here in case you're looking for it. First thing he said to do was to, you have to excuse me a sec. Let's see if I can get this off. I was just measuring this, so I might have to just edit this out. All right, we got it. This is the backing plate to the 3-jaw chuck that I was given. The 4-jaw chuck had a plate on it, but it's the wrong thread. So if I want the 4-jaw chuck to work, I need to make a new backing plate for the 4-jaw chuck. Which is, from somebody aspiring to get into lathe work, a great opportunity. For somebody who wants to start working on the lathe, somewhat of a slowdown. But anyway, the machinist, who I saw this morning, excuse me, shared with me that one of the things to check, in addition to making sure that we have this book written by Southbend back in the day, How to Run a Lathe, which is a fantastic quick read. One of the first things I need to do, which I have not done yet, is level the lathe. I haven't done that yet, but what the machinist said to do is inside here, this spindle is a Morse taper, and he said to check the trueness of that headstock, before doing anything else, because if this isn't true, then sadly the lathe is not worthless, but it's going to be a lot more work to get precision work out of. So he gave me this gauge, and I just did it. Press the little needle in here, spin the shaft, and dang gannet, it is spot on. I had 0 throwout, which I had to do it several times because I was like, can that be true? But I hope that I am doing it right and that it is true. So that's fantastic. Okay, last thing, I'm going to step you back for a minute. The last thing is that one of the requests I was able to make by buying this from a big shop is to get a VFD. So they put a 3-phase 2 horsepower motor in the cabinet there, a VFD here, but the VFD takes 220 input. So I need to run 220 into my shop and a plug and all that. So I haven't been able to spin it up yet because I need to run power to it. Even if I had power to it, I couldn't use it because I didn't have my quick change tool post or a chuck that works. So there's all these things that need to happen, but fortunately to me, I see those things as an opportunity to learn all sorts of things. So I'm still really excited about this. I'm thrilled that there was no, that the spindle is true, spot on. That's very encouraging. And I think that's it for updates at the moment. This is one of those things that is going to probably take weeks for me to work through and get spun up. But I look forward to checking back in with you as things move on. All right, so I wanted to thank everybody for the encouragement to pursue this idea of using a lathe in a sharpening shop. As I said in the earlier video, it's not something I've ever seen done before, but it seems like it could have a lot of potential benefits. One of the major downsides that I'm seeing right now is that it's kind of complicated to get set up, and if you don't have access to a machine shop or an existing lathe to get it going, or you need to buy something brand new off the shelf with everything already built into it, and the sacrifice there is that if you're going to buy something like a high precision tool off the shelf, it's going to be significantly more money than maybe an older Southbend. So anyway, thanks for the encouragement. I appreciate you going through this with me. If you do have any feedback just based on what I've shared already, please understand I don't know everything about lathes. In fact, I know very little about lathes. So if you do know stuff about lathes and you want to share that with me, please let me know in the comments. I'm very excited to learn about this, and I appreciate anything you can offer. Okay, so until the next video, thanks very much.